Hello friends, I welcome you all in this new edition of news coverage and analysis from the Hindu newspaper dated 9th March 2019. I am extremely sorry for the delay because of power power cut. I could not record the video. So I again apologize. So let's start now. These are the news for today. You can pause the video and note down if you wish. So let's start with the first article. ArcelorMittal to take over debt-ridden SR Steel. Well, we all have already talked about what is called National Company Law Tribunal, and you know about it. So, National Company Law Tribunal has approved a 42,000 crore resolution plan for global steel magnate ArcelorMittal to take over the debt-ridden SR Steel in Gujarat. The approval for mega deal came almost 583 days after NCLT began the insolvency proceedings instead of mandated 270 days. SR Steel runs a 10 million ton steel mill at Hazira in Gujarat and owes over 49,000 crore to over 2 dozen banks led by state-run SBI and has been under bankruptcy proceedings since June 2017. So we need to know what is called NCLT, and then like ArcelorMittal is the biggest steel producer in the world, so that you should know. And then NCLT has got this provision of complete the insolvency proceeding within 270 days, that you should know. And it took 583 days, so this is one of the landmark, so you should remember that. Now at page 7, do forest survey separately. A high power committee constituted by Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change has recommended that the forest survey, the biennial exercise, this you should remember, by the government to estimate forest cover, explicitly demarcate trees grown in forest from those growing outside, that is in plantation or in private land. It should be separated. Why it should be done? Independent critics have for long pointed out that the including both isn't an ecologically sound principle, but this is a first instance that government constituted committee has recommended so, because you first need to understand that which is your forest area, because that's your lungs, and then there are sparse separated private land and private trees, that should be separate, so that we actually could come to know as how fast we are either growing or protecting our forest areas, or how fast it is getting degraded. So keeping these two separate would actually give us a clear picture. Furthermore, India posted a marginal 0.21% rise in the area under the forest between 2015 and 2017, according to the India State of Forest Report 2017, which was made public on February 2018. The document says that India has about 7,08,273 square kilometer of forest, which is 21.53% of the geographical area of the country, that is 32,87,569 square kilometer. This fact is important for your prelims. Getting India to have at least 33% of its area under forest has been a long-standing goal of the government since 1988. This is also important for your prelims. This is the data that is projected here. You can pause the video and note down if you wish. Now, UIDAI to levy fees for verification. This news is important to understand the implication of providing free verification and then chances of breach of data or breach of security cover. So now since government has started asking, or UIDAI has started asking for the fee for verification, it would very well know which all could try to breach the security, and you can say that now a step is taken to protect the data. What says the business organization will now need to sell out 20 rupees for each customer verification and 50 paisa for authentication of each transaction done using Aadhaar. Aadhaar authentication service shall be charged at the rate of rupees 20 for each eKYC transaction and 50 paisa for each yes and no authentication. However, government entities and Department of Postal will be exempted from the authentication process. So basically, this actually now government has decided to go for restricted use of biometric or the Aadhaar data available with UIDAI. That's a welcome step. Now we move to the editorial at page 8. First is road through Rome. Why this article is important? This actually article highlights or showcases the increasing clout of China at the world level and its various techniques that it has, or various strategic initiatives that it has been taking to increase its influence at the global level. So what to focus at in this article? Italy's plan to endorse Belt and Road Initiative, the first such move by any G7 member, will boost China's global ambition. In turn, this highlights the difficulty facing the EU and US in formulating a concerted response to counter China's growing might. So now the author is saying that world has recognized China's growing might, and there has been dilemma in EU and of course in US, and now they are breaking. So joining of Italy to the BRI shows the shaking confidence of EU that they can hold China. So it actually shows the increasing clout of China. So how author projects it? On its inception in 2013, BRI envisaged linking about 65 countries along a modern Silk Road. The transformation of China into high-income economy and renminbis. This is the official currency of People's Republic of China. Yuan is the basic unit of renminbi. Elevation into a global currency. So the author projects that this is the first target of China. Today, it has expanded to over 80 countries, mostly least developed and developing countries, as Beijing seeks to bolster its Made in China 2025 industrial policy. So this is the second initiative. Now, to the lure of BRI is attributed largely to the informal nature of the deal Beijing negotiates with the partner states with attractive loan terms and sand political strings. Their opaque nature has spurred criticism that recipient risk of being pushed into debt trap. This is what we always have been discussing, that China's policy of loan and other facility is basically a debt trap. First it gives a generous loan, and then when it actually lures country to bring into a debt trap, and then makes those country its strategic point or location at the global map. Now glitches facing some of the BRI infrastructure project have merely led to the call for renegotiation rather than the rollback. And this actually is the way author projects is that BRI is not a tool for debt trap. Had that been the debt trap tool, it would have country would have rolled back after facing glitches, but that has not happened. So BRI has moved forward along with Beijing's other ventures, the Asian Infrastructure Investment Bank. Many Central and Eastern European countries, EU members and aspirants alike are part of 16+1 group, which includes China collaborating for infrastructure venture. So the way author is projecting, as if countries very well understand that China is not going for debt trap. However, the way many articles have criticized that China actually is following the policy of debt trap. That's why it is selectively choosing those countries who are either poor or lacks fund and other infrastructure to sustain on their own. So that has got substance. So why Italy is the first from EU? Timing seen to have something to do with the difficulty the government has faced in balancing its growth target with EU's stringent fiscal norm. These tensions surfaced in the recent negotiation with Brussels that led to the revised Italian budget. So this is the first region, and actually Italy sees this project as support from China to bolster its economy. Italy is counting on its BRI endorsement to boost investment in it. given recent reduction in Chinese outflow in EU. So basically, the way Italy sees that, because after endorsing this project, maybe China would be investing its economy, and then Italy would be able to fulfill the stringent fiscal norms of EU and would be able to bolster its own economy. Rome is expected to sign an MOU to participate in the mammoth endeavor during a visit this month with President Xi Jinping. What others EU members are working on? I mean, Italy has come out of that shackle and has joined the gang. What about other countries? European capital, especially Paris and Berlin, that is France and Germany, are working on to counter Chinese mergers and acquisition of European firms to protect the bloc's strategic economic sector. So now these countries are actually trying to resist and trying to take actions which could stop mergers and acquisitions of European firms with Chinese firms. Well, the Trump administration has, in keeping with the American first policy, invoked national security provisions rarely deployed in international trade and targeted Beijing with punitive import tariff, ostensibly to protect domestic industry. So this is what America is doing. So EU led by Germany and France is trying to protect companies from mergers and acquisition, and America is trying to initiate punitive measures to stop imports from China, so that it could protect its domestic industries. Now, what other author says that China's phenomenal economic expansion since joining the WTO in 2001 has almost altered the global landscape, but attempts to block Chinese business may prove short-sighted. Instead, Western democrats should strive to live up to their repeated pledge since 2007 at global financial crisis to eschew protectionism and promote rules-based, open and free global competition. So the way this article is written is actually supporting China's initiative and China's measures. But then why I have chosen this article, because now India actually need to work on this, because India has been resisting BRI, but then the way countries are joining the cadre, because China had initially envisaged only 65 countries, now it has crossed 80. So India will have a tough time in coming days. Now at page 9 we have when Bandipur burned. While everyone takes stock of the damage, they all agree that this year's Bandipur fire is a wake-up call that underscores the need for a fresh look at our firefighting mechanism. This is the concern of the author. Now, why I have chosen this article? Now that there is a major fire in Bandipur, Wayanad, so we need to understand what causes fire. I had taken one article in previous week where I had detailed what kind of types of fires are there: surface fire, subsurface fire, or canopy fire. You can refer my video. But we need to understand what are the region specific, that is India's specific region for fire. So there are a couple of regions that is mentioned here. Failure of northeastern monsoon, what we call the monsoon withdrawal, and abundance of leaf litter and dry shrubs provide an ideal condition for wildfire. This is the first region. Second, by mid-December, the deciduous forest at Bandipur filled with dry Lantana camara, an invasive weed that covers almost 50% of the 912.04 square kilometer reserve, had become a powder keg. And this is the second region. This becomes like what do you call, like a gunpowder. So fewer fire incidents in last 2 years had led to an accumulation of combustible material. The rise in temperature coupled with the dearth of summer rains had turned the entire forest area into a tinderbox. So this is the third region. Then the fourth region, apart from the rainfall in November, December, dew and mist during the winter serves as an insulation against an early outbreak of fire. Why? Because it generates moisture. The temperature at Gopalaswamy Betta in Bandipur can dip up to 12 degree in winter, but there was barely 15-20 days of that witness such temperature this winter, as against the average 40 to average around 40 days. So usually, temperature dips at Bandipur in this place, Gopalaswamy Betta, to 12 degree centigrade, and that lasts up to 40 days. But this time it happened only for 15 to 20 days. This added to the moisture stress and helped fire spread. So this is the fourth reason why that actually propelled the fire. Now, what are the repercussions of forest fire? First, the positive one. It says that given the fact that the wildfires have been a part of forest ecosystem, a section of scientists and conservationists say that the forest fires are not all that bad, since they help regenerate the vegetation. Besides, there is a perception among officials that small controlled fire may be necessary to reduce piling up of dry trees, dead and decaying woods, and lantana. If that is not done, the next fire could be even bigger, and this is what they want. But repeated fire in short succession are reducing species richness and harming natural regeneration. Why? Because only those would survive who are actually who could protect itself from fire. So it will be the forest would lose its richness. Moreover, forest area frequently affected by fire show an erosion of soil, floral and fauna diversity. They're also more vulnerable to the spread of alien invasive plants who are more who could easily survive. In such case, in the case of Bandipur, there is a clear danger of homogenization of the habitat with fire-resistant species such as Anogenesis latifolia and Cassia fistula taking over the landscape. So this is the second problematic thing. Fire engulf and burn the natural food source of herbivores such as elephants, spotted deer, gaur, preparing the ground for mass migration. Lack of adequate natural fodder in the forest could escalate human-animal conflict. Elephants could end up venturing into agriculture field to devour standing crops. So this is third and fourth region, and this is, I mean, this article is important for you in case questions are asked in the mains as what is the reason for the forest fire in India and what could be the repercussion and how should it be handled. So in case you know the repercussion, you will be able to chalk out the plan and you can suggest measures. Right now, what kind of measures that is taken? First measure that is taken is to periodical burning of those leaves. I mean, initiation of controlled fire is one of the methods that is used. The next article, SBI links saving account short-term loan rates to repo rate. So what it says, in the first of its kind, State Bank of India has decided to link interest rate paid on saving bank balance of over 1 lakh to repo rate, the key policy rate set by Reserve Bank of India. Also, the bank will link cash credit account and overdraft with limit over 1 lakh to the repo rate. The new system will come into effect from May 1, CBI had said in the statement. So from where has this come? The move came ahead of the April 1st deadline for banks to link the lending rate to external benchmark, which is aimed at increasing the effectiveness of monetary transmission. Most banks are likely to link their lending rate to repo rate. And from where has this come? Well, to understand more, you please watch my video of 26th February 2019 on this daily news analysis, where I have covered this particular topic, in which actually RBI had asked all the banks to follow one of the 4 measures that it had suggested for linking lending rate with those external benchmarks. So there were 4 parameters that were suggested by RBI, and it suggested that all banks would link their lending rate with one of those 4 external benchmarks. So I'm not going to talk in detail about that benchmark and what are the benchmarks that were suggested and how it came. I suggest you watch the video, you'll get everything in detail from there. Now the next news is NASA captures first air-to-air image of supersonic shockwave. And why it is important? NASA has captured the unprecedented photo of the interaction of shockwave from two supersonic aircraft. What is supersonic aircraft? One which can run at the speed faster than the speed of sound. So part of its research into developing planes that can fly faster than sound without thunderous sonic boom. So the moment uh, aircraft crosses the speed of sound or breaches the speed of sound barrier, it actually creates a shock wave that is called the sonic boom. It's like blast that we hear when the plane crosses crosses us. So that is called the sonic boom. So it is a mark that the plane has crossed its speed beyond the speed of sound. So when an aircraft crosses the threshold, and that threshold is 1225 kilometers per hour at the sea level, it produces a wave from the pressure it puts in the air around it, which merges to cause the ear splitting sound called the sonic boom. So sonic boom can be a major nuisance, capable of not just startling people on the ground but also causing damage like shattering window panes. I'll give you image just after this, just after finishing news. So next news is new beetle species get names from pop culture. Scientists have discovered 103 beetle species in Indonesia that are new to science and named one of them after the Star Wars characters Yoda, the three others after characters of the French comic series The Adventure of Asterix. Well, might be asked, even if it is not asked, it's a fun thing to know. The Indonesian island Sulawesi has been long known for its enigmatic fauna, including the deer pig and midget buffalo. Now this part is important for you for your prelims. Now let's try to understand what is called this sonic boom. So when any moving object, any object which is moving and that is producing a sound, it will create a sound wave, and this circular portion shows the sound wave. So this is one sound wave, this is another, this is third, fourth, and likewise. So the sound wave would start coming closer in the direction of the movement of the object. In this case this is the plane. So as we increase the speed of the jet, and when the speed reaches to the speed of sound, I have noted it with S, all the wavefront would merge at one place, and this is called the shock wave. And when this plane crosses us, say a person is standing here like this, person like this is standing here. So when this plane crosses this person, it will get a thunderous sound, and that is called the shock wave. Now what happens when the speed crosses the speed of sound? So when speed when speed is less than the speed of sound, we have the what we call the wavefront coming closer towards the direction of the movement. When speed is equal to the speed of sound, all the wavefront merges at one point, and this creates a shock wave. Now what if the speed of sound is greater than the speed of the object is greater than the speed of sound? In that case, there would be a front created in both the direction, and here we actually would have a merging of all the waves. So in this situation, whenever a person standing say here would I mean, the moment this aircraft crosses, and when this wavefront cross that person, he will get a thunderous sound. So in this case, when speed of sound is equal to the, I mean, speed of the object is equal to the speed of sound, or speed of the plane is equal to the speed of sound, when the plane crosses that person, that is at this place, he will hear a thunderous sound, and that is called the shock wave. In case of sonic boom, when the speed of sound is more, speed of object is more than the speed of sound, in that case a front is created which is conic in size. It's a conic structure. When this cone crosses the person would hear a thunderous sound, and that is called the sonic boom. So this is a fun thing to know. I hope it has not disturbed you. I mean, there was some technical problems here, but still. So this is all for you for today. Thank you very much.